What's going on, everyone? What I want to talk about today is there's some recent discussion about the whole thing about independent contractors. They don't want to be employees working in the gig economy. And we all can understand that. And Torp has been talking about it. Red Shed Rodeo has been talking about it. But what I want to talk about today is that why that might happen and why are they trying to make independent contractors employees, and that's on the gig economy companies themselves, period. There's no debate. They created this mess. They created so much heat and so many lawsuits that involves whole states, just like in New York. Millions of dollar lawsuits, state-wise, city and state. That gets the attention of the politicians. If the gig economy companies were doing this shit okay and keeping it on the low, you might say, well, even if they do that, yeah, but it's not 100% sure that it's going to get their attention. But what they did for so many years, it's a guarantee to get the attention of some of these states and politicians. Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. See, the politicians talking about, or let's say, what they're looking upon is what's going on with education, what's going on in the W-2 sector. They check that out. They look at healthcare. They look at social programs. They're involved into a lot of other things. Stuff with the town, the city, the roads, the churches, religion, a lot of things. The gig economy was on the low. So it wasn't getting their attention. Now it is. Now, a lot of states are getting their attention in the gig economy. Why? Because the gig economy companies themselves, they sticked out like a sore thumb. Almost every state there's lawsuits. DoorDash, Ubereats, Instacart, Spark, you name it. They're in the media constantly. The gig economy is constantly in the media for negativity. There's a lot of bad shit. A lot of articles have been created. It got the attention of the news channels in these states. Major news channels talking about DoorDash company, the UbeReats company. They created a lot of heat. And it got the attention of the big social media networks and big state-funded news channels. Now these politicians, they don't have to try and look for anything. It gets thrown in their face. And they're looking at this like, oh, look at all this stuff that's going on. Maybe we can benefit out of this. That's how the politicians think. Maybe we'll try to make them employees so we can get more of that revenue, so we can fatten our wallets and our charity networks that we have, that we benefit from, that they cannot track where the money is going. And we know, in the end, nobody knows where it's going. We know exactly where the money is going because they say that they're worth millions, but they're only getting paid, what, 50 to 100,000 a year. But they're worth millions, okay? But we'll try to do something, a benefit, if we make them employees in the gig economy. We'll try to find some kind of protection and benefit for these people. This way we can get our money. That's what happened. The gig economies, the CEOs. It's not just a company, it's the CEOs. The CEOs of all these gig economy companies. Created a lot of heat. That's the number one thing with this type of business. That's what you do not want to do. That's exactly what you want to do. That's the number one rule. Because it doesn't fall under a W-2. It falls under independent. And all these companies know they don't want to get into that thing where all these independent contractors turn employees and we have to pay insurances. We got to pay them every hour, no matter if there's deliveries or not. They don't want that. But they're stupid what they did. If DoorDash and ubereats and Instacart and the rest of you didn't want that, you should have played your cards correctly. But you didn't. And now here we are. Enough said. There it is. Catch you guys later.